Greetings and welcome to this week's edition of 401k Real Talk. This is Fred Barstein, contributing editor at wealthmanagement.com's RPA Edge and CEO at TRAO, TPSU, and 401k TV. I review all of last week's stories and select the most important and interesting ones, providing open, honest, and candid discussion you will not get anywhere else. So let's get real. First story, though September slowed to 263,000 new jobs from 315,000 in August and over 500,000 in July, the job market is still very tight as unemployment rates drop from 3.7 to 3.5%, matching the July 50-year low. Wages inched up just 0.3%, down from 5% last month. Experts predict that the September job numbers will not slow interest rate hikes by the Fed. There are still 10.1 million job openings as of the end of August, which equates to 1.7 jobs for every unemployed person, keeping the war for talent hot and benefits, especially retirement, a key weapon to recruit and retain talent. Next story, the Retirement Clearinghouse announced the formation of the Portability Services Network, which will initially include Fidelity, Alight, and Vanguard, who record keep 40% of all DC accounts. Though the initial goal is to stem leakage of small balance accounts, the exchange has much greater implications to standardize data, help investors consolidate accounts, find missing participants, and facilitate lifetime income. Read my column this week on wealthmanagement.com about the importance and implications of this data exchange. Though a good start, 3 other providers in the top 10 are in discussions to join the network as owners, with invitations to participate to all other record keepers. Next story, a New York Federal District Court dismissed claims against TIAA by participants that their rollover recommendations constituted a fiduciary act in direct opposition to the Biden administration's Prohibited Transaction Exemption 2020-02. Citing the 5-part fiduciary test, the court ruled that 2 to 3 interactions are insufficient to constitute a regular basis, one of the 5 criteria. The court also rejected the idea that data was a plan asset and cannot be used by providers to market rollover services. Though just one court's opinion, it is important as other courts in Florida and Texas consider lawsuits against the Biden fiduciary rule. And certainly curious, since TIAA agreed to pay a $97 million fine to the SEC for similar behavior alleged in this lawsuit. Next story, a Cerulli report indicated that managed accounts are booming, increasing assets 24% in 2021, with $10.7 trillion estimated to grow to $16 trillion in 2026. Sponsors of managed accounts are bullish on direct indexing, which account for 35% of all assets, up from 23% in 2020. Driven by the desire for customization at scale and additional revenue by advisors and record keepers, managed accounts are also gaining traction in DC plans and as the default option using record keeper data. Direct indexing has not gained traction in DC plans as their greatest benefit is tax savings, but as index funds, which account for 43% of assets in plans with more than $1 billion, continue to grow, so will the desire for personalization. Finally, the DOL sent their ESG rule to the White House for final approval, expected to be published next month. The rule would allow plan sponsors to go beyond purely pecuniary decisions when evaluating ESG funds, as well as allowing them to be a default option, which has significant implications for target date funds and managed accounts that include them. ESG usage in DC plans is still minuscule and has become a political issue, especially for states. But perhaps the finalization of the rule will provide sponsors with some comfort, until, of course, the next administration changes the rule again. So those were the most important stories from the last week. I listed a few others I thought are worth reading. And also be sure to watch McKinsey's Jon Godsall on 401k Real Chat discussing how providers and advisors are leveraging the convergence, as well as what they need to do to succeed. Please let me know if I missed anything or if you have any comments. Otherwise, I look forward to speaking to you next week on 401k Real Talk.